When I was 15, I was shy and awkward. It would take a sledgehammer to burst me out of my shell. That sledgehammer came in the form of summer camp, a place where I rediscovered myself and where my first romance blossomed. Now, we've all seen stories like that, and I experienced most of that story, only I wasn't at a summer camp. I was at a psych ward. Hi, my name is Tosh Hendricks Cameron, and I struggle with obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, I can say that without shame, but many simply cannot say the same because we stigmatize mental health in this country, especially in communities of color, such as the black community where I hail from. But I seek to break the stigma with my show, Maze. Think of my show as a cross between The Breakfast Club and Silver Linings Playbook, a classic John Hughesian coming-of-age tale emphasizing mental health featuring BIPOC leads. We begin with our protagonist, Maze Mason, a shy, reclusive teenager whose mixed-race heritage puts him in a constant internal struggle. Maze suffers from a type of OCD called harm OCD, a OCD that gives him violent, intrusive thoughts. And though I do not have this type, I've struggled with OCD for years, and it's my dream that if the show is a hit, one day no one will ever say I'm so OCD ever again. After a failed suicide attempt, Maze is placed in a psych ward, where he meets several other misfits, including Mandy Monroe, a Nigerian-American, infectiously impulsive firecracker who draws Maze in like a moth to the flame. Her diametric opposite, Jocelyn Weaver, who everyone ironically calls Jolly, a 12-year-old foul-mouthed hustler by the name of Boyd Holliday, who despite being in a wheelchair is bound only by his imagination, and James Red Wolf Jones, an indigenous, cool, charismatic burnout who acts as an older protective brother to the rest of the patients at the ward. They are all guided under the watchful eyes of Dr. Logan Smith, a tough, no-nonsense, hilariously humorless psychologist. Episode structure. Each episode functions as a character piece filtered through an individualized therapy session with Dr. Smith. There's a primary storyline at the ward, augmented by flashbacks that delve into each character's backstory. Think a more kid-friendly Orange is the New Black style structure. Young audiences will be drawn into this show because in addition to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have a mental health pandemic in this country, and people want to see themselves, their true selves, reflected in the media they consume. And though we have come a long way in our depictions with shows like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and BoJack Horseman, I haven't seen a lot of media showcasing how mental illness intersects with communities of color, which my show will.